when you say Nas' name and you group it as and you already saying there's hundreds of people better than lyricists than Kendrick, and then you say Nas' name, regardless of what the criteria is that you trying to put before us. That's not a good thing to say. And then you try to clean it up and say, well, no, he inspired me. We live in a society where someone's going to clip that, where you said that, and they're going to put that somewhere. And then the people that don't like you, they're going to say, see what he said? He said the same shit about Nas. He's a hater. And he knows this because the things that he laid out that happened to him when he lost his sneaker deal, these are all things that happened of people taking moments that he had no control over them and them coming back to bite him. So I'm saying, at what point, as you're in your 40s, do you learn your lesson and grow up? And then in one breath is you've been victimized, and then in another breath you sold 22 million records. Which is it? Do you love Atlantic or you hate them? Because you wouldn't have sold them records if they didn't do what they did.
Yeah, buddy. Get these lights together. Let's go. Let's get to it. This music remind me of a little scene in Coming to America. Extra chocolate. It's smooth. Whatever. Let's get this music together and get straight into it. It's too much BS going on. Too much BS going on, and everybody dancing around and playing around with it. But let's get to it. Welcome to Kush Equilibrium. I am your always smoking host. Oops, great. Man. To the after hour. After hour. Yeah, I know what it is. Looking at my ugly face. As you can see, I shaved finally a little bit. Got it myself together just a little bit, because you know what I'm saying. Can't be putting on hats forever. But appreciate y'all pulling up for the smoke break while we talk about this hip hop thing. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Y'all see it at the bottom of the screen. Help me take care of the YouTube police. Think of them as job and family services. Just how they be all in your business, want to know what you're doing, when last time you went to work, when you going to the doctor, who in your house, how many people, how old, all that. YouTube the same way. So if y'all could take care of all that for the free ski, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate it. You know, we gonna sip, we gonna smoke, we gonna talk, we gonna do our thing. Now, also, hold on, before I forget, shout out to y'all who made it home. Y'all know when we outside kicking it, we ain't trying to leave our car nowhere. And we ain't trying to let nobody drive. So, we be under extreme circumstances when we trying to get home from the after hour. I understand it, but glad you made it home. If you bring a little something home with you, hey, you can let this show play in the background while y'all do what y'all do. We ain't hating around here. You can always go back to the show later. You know what I'm saying? Put the show on, hit the thumbs up, handle your business, spin the block back later. You know what I'm saying? But that's 4 minutes. I don't waste 4 minutes of your time. But you know, I gotta stretch this beginning part out because you know you can't talk a certain type of way on YouTube and all that other little mess. But we gonna get there. Now, my last video, I told you I was gonna spin the block back on this Lupe Koala. Actually, it's not Lupe Koala. It's like Lupe content creator. So, pull this music down a little bit, and let's dive right on into it. Let's go.
You've had a lot of lyrical conversations, or conversations that involve what lyricism is.
Shout out to Culture United. Well, the company man first and foremost. That's the channel that it's on. But excuse me. man, I'm ready to lay it down. I had to get this show out. I just got the house. I'm glad I had this all prepped, or there would be no show tonight or this morning or whatever. But the show itself was Culture United. For those who don't know, the part that I'm particularly kind of focused on is his interaction with fans and what he said we can't do. What we can't do. But we're going to dive in on as we go along, so let's get to it.
Isn't to a degree over the past week, but also I think just through your work as an MC and also with MIT and Johns Hopkins and those things. When you hear the word lyricism, or when you're speaking about lyricism, what are you generally focusing on?
As it relates to rap, punches and bars. Punches, punchlines, bars, similes, entendres.
Let's take applause. Now, what is it about those particular literary devices that you seem to prioritize when it comes to rap?
Because when you go...
Now, before he go down his little diatribe, I've gotten to a point after watching this enough times where I feel like it's just a diatribe. Won't quite call it a whole bunch of word salad. There's actual information in there. Useful information in there, but it's the way he frames it, the tone he delivers it. It's just a whole lot of bad that I'm surprised nobody on this panel saw. There's something about the panel as a whole that I had an issue with. They were gonna save that completely for the end, and I added a clip at the end specifically to make sure I remember to address that. Y'all know I'll be sitting down drinking, smoking it, chilling with y'all, chopping it up and whatnot, and I'll forget. So let's go.
Back and you look through the history of rap, and you look at individual MCs, groups, what have you, talking from 79 and prior to 79, all the way up through to now, through the 80s, there's always been a premium put on punchlines. There's always been a premium on setup, reveal. Other things are in that, but I think as it relates to rap, for me, the what's on the pedestal, what is practice and what kind of sets you apart from other MCs in the cypher space and the acapella space and even in on beats and on songs is your punchlines. And so that's how I was trained. That's how I was influenced. And when I was able to go back and really study rap, the craft objectively, that's what I found.
Let's take applause. Mickey, coming from Pendulum Inc., do you agree with that assessment? Do you think about more things in terms of, particularly when it comes to rap in this case?
I disagree. And I had a conversation with Real Deal about this, I would say 2-3 weeks ago, and how I ranked it. I'm gonna give my ranking on lyricism, right? Foundation.
Before he give his ranking, I want you to understand why I clip things the way I clip them. I really want y'all to pay attention to Lupe's mannerisms. I find those to be a little bit off-putting. Also, I really focus in on a couple of clips of Lupe talking, because ultimately that's who we want. I want to hear what that man has to say. You can spin the block back and watch the live if you want to watch everybody. But I also included Mickey Fax because I wanted to see what his viewpoint was, paired up against or side by side with Lupe. That's probably the most interesting part that I found. So let's get to it.
At the very bottom is multisyllabics. Right above it is punchlines, which is at the bottom. Right
Pay attention to Lupe.
Wordplay. Right above that is entendre. Right above that is storytelling. And right above that is constraints. Right? And, you know, for me, and then, you know, somewhere in between like storytelling and, metaphor. Metaphor will be after entendre, right? So somewhere between storytelling and metaphor, I will put content, right? What you're actually talking about. And then at the top, I would put constraints in terms of lyricism. Like what can you do that nobody else has done? What kind of story can you tell? And are you executing it at a very high level? Because foundationally, and you know, what I agree with Lupe with is from a foundational standpoint, you got to be able to rhyme, right? So your multis, you got to be able to make the stuff rhyme, not do the one syllable stuff, whatever. And then right after that, the first thing a lot of people do is the punchline, right? And that's to me, that's base level. You learn that as soon as you come in. Then you got to start taking the craft to a higher level. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I see it. That's how I see it.
Can a battle rapper, is a battle rapper always a better MC than a mainstream commercial artist?
It depends on which mainstream artist you are talking about. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just depends. It depends on which mainstream artist you're talking about. And then when you put battle in front of rapper, right? You can't negate the other rappers that are out there. You can't negate underground MCs that are doing exceptional stuff. You can't negate MCs that are weaving in between pockets that battle rappers don't, because they're not constrained to a metronome. There's so many different ways to kind of look at it. So, and that's just my perspective. I think that battle rappers focus primarily on entertaining the crowd that is in front of them, that are now trained with their ears to react to a punchline and an entendre or wordplay. Then there's nothing else you can't do anything else. I've heard so many times from different battle rappers, they're like, yo, I'm stuck and confined to doing this. I can't attempt to do or try anything else because the crowd won't allow me to do anything else.
Up to this point, I kind of agree more with Ricky Facts than the way Lupe laid it out. I can't speak too much about the battle rapper aspect. I'm not the battle rap. I like songs. Most battle raps happen a cappella. There's no beat. It's just bars, which is cool. If that's your type of coffee you like in the morning, cool. I happen to not like coffee at all. I like tea. I'm not a coffee drinker. Songs guide me emotionally, or the lyrics are a certain way, have a certain level of depth that takes you down a deep place or dark place. I find it hard to look at battle rap and find it moves you in a certain way. It's like, because it seems like everything you have to say has to have a gotcha moment to get a reaction. So it's like the pressure's always on for battle rappers. Whereas with a song, you got the option of erasing, reworking it, coming up with something better. Ain't no erasing with battle. You know what I'm saying? It's right then and now. What you put out there, it's out there. Everything is in pen. Whereas a rapper who does commercial songs or whatever, it's in pencil. It ain't in pen until you go in the booth and you lay the track. Let's get back to it.
Well, Mickey said, if I may, Mickey said he disagreed, but then he turned around and said he agreed with that. Foundationally, it's punchlines. So even your stories are made up of punchlines. There's macros and there's micros. So this is what I teach in my class. There's macros and there's micros. If something is made up of something else, it's a macro. It's not foundational, right? The micro is what the building blocks of it are. And so that would be similes, entendres, and punchlines. And the best optimal punchline structure is within a simile, right? Your tenor, your vehicle, your tenor, your marker, and your vehicle. You can do punchline setups that are made out of similes, and even though they're basic, that's how I judge someone who has a mastery of that particular literary device, is how they can take something that has a basic structure and make something exotic with it, right? Entendres are definitely more ranked higher because they require more cognitive energy to produce, right? You're taking more of a risk. You have to have an understanding of all the connotation and the spin of each individual word involved. And so as a person who plays with words, and who are able to produce and generate entendres at whatever scale, double entendres, triple entendres, quadruple entendres, you know that person has spent a lot of time and energy crafting and building that out. So you obviously just give them more credence to that. But with that said, there's people who are able to find those similes with just one layer that are so powerful and so profound, right? That all you need is one. Just that one is enough to set you up as being respected as a lyricist, right? And you can have that one you can have that one simile, that one punch, and it's so impactful by itself, with no beat, no no storytelling, no other embellishment, none of the other macros on top of it. And it hits in a certain way, and you're locked, and they repeat that forever, right? And there's tons of examples of that throughout kind of rap. So I went to your question. I think that foundationally and primarily, it's similes that are constructed, punchlines that are constructed out of similes, and then extending into entendres, and you would rank somebody who has a mastery on entendres higher.
I think for me, when I think about even just the
He is very long-winded. Very long-winded. He talks like he's from the academic world. Very slow, very methodic, very careful, very well thought out. Those of you out there are calling Lupa Fiasco idiot, stop. That's not the problem. He's not an idiot. I will go as far as to say I have a better understanding for why some of you might call this man a musical genius. I think that word gets thrown around quite freely, but I can at least understand the rationale for you having that type of sentiment. I'm interested to see what he sounded like before he got to doing this teaching at MIT and somewhere else. I don't care. I'm never going to take the classes, so I think any of us are going to take the class. So I want to see his before and his now. I see the now. What was his before? Did he talk this same way? I don't want to feel like I'm shooting anybody any level of grace that they don't deserve. So I'll say this until I see what it's probably as simple as me Googling it, see how he handled himself in interviews or whatever back in the kick push days. I understand why he framed things the way he frames it. Coming from I don't even say coming from, because he's not originally, I don't think he's from there, but taking part in the academic world, right? You have to structure stuff a certain way. Like, I think of it no different than a class syllabus. If you went to college, or for those of you who haven't, your class syllabus tells you every week what you do. When I say everything's pre-planned out, that's why it's crazy people do terrible in college, because you could really do your work ahead of time for most classes and just kick it and tell you what's due when, what you're talking about, what assignments gonna be due when, what books you gonna need. It's all mapped out, and he talk like he's a verbal class syllabus. That's Lupe Fiasco. I think his issue is, like, respectfully, he don't know how to change the way he talk depending on his crowd. When you talk to regular everyday people, it comes off very highbrow. Very highbrow. You throw in broke nigga comments, and it almost pretty much confirms it. You trying to highbrow me. So you high society, and I'm nothing. It comes off that way. That's why I told y'all, pay attention to Lupe and throughout this. And I can't tell you why until the end, because I don't want to mess it up. But watch his mannerisms. Watch his mannerisms. I'm not leading you wrong. Because you get to the end, you're going to be like, okay, I see. I might even cut some of this out just so I can make this a little bit shorter. But Pay attention to Lupe, not only in what he say, but how his mannerisms.
Idea of comparing people, not even people, but when I think of artists, commercial artists, and I think of battle rapper space, I think about ultimately two different objectives in terms of what they're putting out. I think about those separately. And so it's hard for me to even think about the skill sets that both of those possess, particularly when it comes to the commercial artists, because I'm not always sure when I hear a song that a commercial artist is making, if I'm actually hearing the full breadth of their skill set. A lot of times I'm hearing someone who seems like they're trying to make the biggest splash with their song from a virality standpoint or a sales standpoint or a music standpoint. I never think about what a battle rapper is thinking about musically when I'm listening to his rhymes. I'm just thinking about the lyricism itself. Well, I think
that was something one of the few things that I feel like Justin did miss something in this setup here. Respectfully. But it's one of the few things I actually agree with when it comes to Justin and his comments in this.
Sometimes I'm hearing someone who seems like they're trying to make the biggest splash with their song from a virality standpoint or a sales standpoint or a music standpoint. I never think about what a battle rapper is thinking about musically when I'm listening to his rhymes. I'm just thinking about the lyricism itself. Well, I think from a Lupe fan perspective.
Like, I didn't think of it from a battle rapper standpoint, though. I just thought about it in just the music we receive. You hear so many different people in the industry because now we can just go on YouTube and find actual former industry people who know how the sausage is made, so to speak. So all this new knowledge, you start to gain some understanding as to why we've been force-fed so much crappy music. Crappy music. Some of this music being crappy. My proof is the wall. The wall is the proof. Anything, at least to me, and again, this is my opinion. Anything I feel that is of that level of music, I told myself from a hip-hop standpoint, goes on the wall. This don't count. This year, as far as what was released, Baby King, Don Toliver, The End this year. And again, that's just for me. Your music dictates if we as fans buy into it beyond just streaming it. I'm sure most of us have a streaming service that we pay for. But beyond that, I got two pieces of work that I felt, yep, for the year, they did that. Hopefully we get more. But if the system is already rigged against these artists, right? And we're gonna spin back because I still feel like most of this was away from the point overall that he. But to Justin's point, that might be my biggest issue with music right now. Like, I don't think people are really pushing themselves. I don't think many people in hip hop, period, rap, period, whatever, pick one, actually cares about being great or the best or the guy. I just don't. I think that's the heart of most of the issue. This was a hustle. This was a hustle. They saw this. It's money in there. What? I can do this goofy stuff. Because we saw we was getting was goofy stuff. And I'm going to get a bag. Our quality of music that we were willing to accept diminished greatly. I have to say we. I'm gonna include myself, although I went backwards. I went to old music. I'm one of those. I clocked out and went back to my old music. I didn't mess around with this new crap until recent. That's how big that battle was. It shook those of us who just tuned everything out like this is bullshit. Fuck this. Off and went back to the old shit. It shook us to pay attention to what the fuck is going on. How you get the attention of people who really ain't paying attention? That moment was that great. Just saying, just as a side note. We're going to get back to it.
Right, because in the Lupe fan community, I'll say this. For the Lupe fan community, I've probably been the most consistent journalist writing about Lupe Fiasco for the longest time. That most
Remember
people
that.
doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I get a lot of feedback from Lupe fans all the time. My DMs be hit up with people
Look at Lupe.
Going to Lupe shows with in multiple cities for years. And people keep asking me, why does it look like Lupe is putting himself in positions to make people look at him as if he's a hater, as if he's elevating these people who are critical of him? And I never really have an answer other than, I understand the value of protecting your name, but I'm looking at Billboard magazine today or yesterday, and I'm sitting here thinking, like, is this a headline that actually makes sense for what it is that Lupe actually feels?
One is it's intentional, because coming from the streets, I live by the mantra, keep your enemies close. So I want to know what you're doing.
Fans, our fans, your enemy. Let's just figure this out. Let's figure this out. I might have to go back to smoking all. I just got finished smoking. I'm gonna smoke all over again. Our fans, your enemy. The consumer. If you are enemies with the consumer, you have a fucking problem. We're the money. Repeat, we're the money. That's like beefing with the weed man. Actually, no, correction. That's like the weed man beefing with you. Nigga, you need my money. Crazy. That's a crazy statement. Lupe be too smart for the shit he be saying. I think it's the more I see him talk, it turns out the more he talks, the more danger he puts himself in. He's more of a detriment to himself the more he talks. I think that might be why no matter where he go, he keep having these fumble moments, like he word fumbles.
So I follow my stalker back, so I know where she is. Right? I follow the people that have the vitriol and the whole thing. Not follow them like click follow, but I keep tabs on them because you keep your enemies close.
It's not blind to me that he said I follow her close, when all these content creators that you was going at it with were dudes. These were men. Just a note. Just a little note to put in there. I'll be paying attention to what people be saying. I'm the worst person to throw a whole bunch of words out at, because I'm going through them shits. And I need to know what you're saying. What you really saying. Lupe gotta stop talking.
Right? Keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. So I know I got my fans, and I'm gonna pay attention to y'all, but we got some real shit going on over here. And I forgot who I talked about this, maybe offline. I talked to somebody about this yesterday when we were on the phone, right? Fans get their artists killed. Fans get their artists killed. Now, this goes back to your point, Justin, but let's take Billboard, for example. and we'll talk about Billboard and fan responsibility, then I'll land the plane, right? I had a Reebok deal back in whenever, 2010, right after maybe 2009, wherever it was. I had a whole Reebok campaign. It was me, Mike Jones, Lil Wayne, Daddy Yankee, 50 Cent. It was like all these rappers had these shoes. And so I did some press. I had billboards across the city, across the country, blah, 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 right? So everybody knows I'm on Reebok. Billboard magazine puts me on their cover. On the cover of that magazine, they have me on a skateboard and some streetwear and some Nikes, right? Reebok sends me a cease and desist. And basically just from that billboard cover, because they chose a photo while I was wearing Nikes, Reebok basically terminated my deal. So I was going back and forth with Reebok, talking to Billboard. It was a innocent mistake but it's a matter of how they operate too. Billboard doesn't do photo shoots for their cover. They pull from the press photos that the label takes. The label sent Billboard just, here's all these photos, y'all can choose whatever y'all want. They chose a photo of me wearing Nikes. It destroyed my Reebok career. The deal was...
Like, I didn't know about this, but I'm not a person you just feed like sad stories to. I got my own sad story. Ain't nobody trying to hear it. Listen, if this happened, I'm not even going to say if. I'm pretty sure this probably did. You mean to tell me it wasn't no legal grounds whatsoever for this man to sue him? I get it. We are sensitive about courts and stuff. There's certain times you use a court. When we talking about getting your paper. There ain't no improper breach of contract or nothing like that. Negligent actions, like, I'm just saying. We've seen lawsuits for less. So it don't smell a little funny. Like, hey, how come we don't even an attempt at a lawsuit that could probably still fail? But still an attempt. And I find it hard, shoe deal with a major shoe company just goes untalked about. Like, hey, X, Y, Z, this why he ain't here. One day you here, one day you ain't. Whatever the case may be. I'm just saying, like, who ghosting stories like that back in the day? I'm just saying, look, we all got our opinion. I just find that hard to buy. Let's go.
Done. It was cooked. Reebok was like, that's fucked up. Is this? And I explained to them. I was like, I'm talking to Billboard. Like, hey, can you talk to Reebok and let them know that this is how y'all operate? This is what y'all do. They weren't trying to hit none of that shit. So I was cooked. Right? I didn't do anything. I got cooked. That's another kind of like, you may think that I'm being like saucy, or I want the photo shoot with the dope blazers, and I want the new Nikes, and our shoes are kind of whack. You may think that, but that wasn't the case. I emptied my closet, had a number of Reeboks, and this photo shoot that I did prior to me signing to Reebok came back up, and it cost me my Reebok deal. Right? Fan responsibility. And we're going to keep it real gangster and real greasy with my fans. And y'all know I love my fans. But love is to correct, protect, and respect with correct. When the fans wanted to do the petition, they did that petition. I had nothing to do with that petition. When they sent that petition to the label looked at me like I had something to do with it. I was like, I'm not antagonistic. That's just the fans. We looked at it like, okay, cool. Then when they turned around and they did the protest, it was like, I have nothing to do with that protest, but now I'm faced with this thing.
I understand this is this man's history, right? We're going to go through this. But I gotta ask y'all, this don't sound like somebody crying. I'm sorry. This don't sound like somebody crying. This don't sound like woe is me. I just feel like it's the wrong time with the way things are for everyday people to just be like, I lost this and this didn't happen, and they did this and it cost me this, and especially when at the end of the day, all this crying he doing doesn't address the problem that content creators have been talking about. That's why some people are saying word salad, because it's like, okay, doing all of these stories and memories and whatnot, and it has nothing to do with the matter at hand and your treatment of everyday people. That's the part I'm hung up on. I care about what matters. How you treat everyday people. The same people that you eventually gonna be actually come to that little show you got going on whenever you're gonna announce it or whatever the fuck. Sure, it's gonna be merch there. Because there's always merch. There's always something to buy. So, you know?
I have to choose. And I either have to choose my fans.
I don't want to keep hearing you cry. I'm gonna skip
nothing.
some of this.
And I chose the fans. Right?
I'm smoking to
NYPD
buy
kicked me
my
out of the
patience
building
with him
Saturday
crying.
I wasn't allowed to go back in the building. And when I tell you that it destroyed little pieces and parts of my relationship with the label, it was cooked. On top of them trying to force me to do a 360 and everything else, they feel embarrassed about what just happened. Cooked. 2014, when I couldn't get a release date for Tattoo on Youth, the homies Anonymous, shout out to my homies, they're my homies. When the word kind of got out that Lupe wasn't,
let him
they
tell
were
a
playing
piece
with
of this
people's release
story.
dates, Anonymous stopped fighting
He
North Korea
us.
and the Ku Klux Klan and sent a letter to Atlantic and said, hey, if you don't release Lupe Fiasco's album, we're going to dox the entire label. I had nothing to do with that.
Okay, now y'all know that
Which
part.
Is anyway, so I'm going to make an 8 minute
Let's
record about bars. Regardless of that, one of the terms of them letting me go because they felt it was hostile and I threatened the label is they reset the clock on all my masters. So when I was supposed to be getting Food and Liquor right now, because this 10-year thing ended, I don't know when I'm gonna see Food and Liquor. I don't know when I'm gonna get the Cool back. I don't know when I'm gonna get these lasers back. I don't know.
Okay, here's my thing with that, right? He said it's a 10-year clock, right? To reset is to start over. Restart over from square one. Did the terms of the clock change where it's no longer 10 years? Because now you're saying you don't know. It's not hard to figure out if it's an exact 10-year clock from the date they decide to say they put on legal paperwork that we reset in the clock. 10 years from that is the date. Like, what the fuck we talking about here? See, this is what I be saying. You got to pay attention to what the fuck motherfuckers be saying. Is it a 10-year clock or is it fucking not? What are we doing? When did that, I can't say when they actually said it. When did they legally file the paperwork saying from this date forward, the clock starts on this be returned to you? It's simple, nigga. When the simple stuff don't add up, that make me raise my eyebrows and start sniffing around for what when you trying to make stuff sound real technical and difficult, what you really trying to say? That's when you trying to sneak some shit past me. See, okay. Okay. Let's keep going.
When I'm gonna get those masters because of that. Something I had nothing to do with. But it's from the fans. Right? So that relationship between fan and artist, for some people who don't know, it can get very, very tricky. Right? Where fans are like, well, we're not gonna support you unless you do this. We're not gonna do this unless you do that. Or we love you so much. Like Lupe, we love you so much, we want to do, and they overprotect. And they wind up fucking up very kind of fragile negotiations.
That sounds like you're complicit in cultivating a toxic fan base. Is it not? Does it not sound that way? Is that not cultivating a toxic fan base? I've seen videos of Kendrick checking motherfucking fans. Like, oh no, we're not about to do that. We're not about to, like. You can't be a victim of your own fan base. Like the Barbs and Beehive, all that. Man, they co-sign that. How the Playboy Cardi fans and whatever you call those group of people. Whatever you call those group of people. All right, them too. Stop playing victim. Stop playing victim. I ain't buying it. I ain't buying it, bro. Let's go.
And circumstances where the label felt threatened, and they were like, and I told the label, I said, look, don't do anything. I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't respond. Right? Call their bluff. Right? But when you do that, law enforcement gets involved, all type of shit. And I always support the people, but I also learned from that experience to be very hands off. Be very,
hindsight,
create some
boy.
partitions and stuff like that. But yeah, those
Vision is
fan
history.
things, which are great moments and revolutionary, and they added to my mystique in the folklore. On a business side, I was getting destroyed in that label. And even to this day, Julie Green,
right,
I hated that album. This is why. 3 months ago, that says, I never listened to Tribe Called Quest anyway. When that hit, the publicist at Atlantic, his name was Sidney Markinson. We got the editor-in-chief of they looking like, man, it's all good, I'm in the back embarrassed like a motherfucker. That same night, Vibe Magazine puts out a quote from the interview that I did 3 months ago that says, I never listened to Tribe Called Quest anyway. When that hit, the publicist at Atlantic, his name was Sidney Markinson. We got the editor-in-chief of Vibe Magazine on the phone. And he was like, why would y'all do that? Because niggas was finna die. Niggas was turned up on some street shit. Niggas was turned up on some, and everywhere you went, if it wasn't that.
Niggas was about to die. He an eccentric little something, ain't he? He an eccentric little something. They be playing in our faces. He part of they. He part of they. Be playing in our faces, boy. I'm gonna show you what's so disheartening about how he going about this. I'm about to shuffle through this a little bit. He rocking me to sleep.
When he was Kamala Abstract.
Like, comment, subscribe, and just help me go to sleep.
I base my albums off his albums, right?
See,
but that was a little bit past my generation, and we were in the streets. So he was like, y'all know that was the context for why he said that. Why would y'all clip that and put that out in the world like he's responding to what happened at VH1? She says, and I quote, what, you want to take it to the streets?
Sympathy. He's fishing for sympathy.
And I like, Sydney, hang up the phone. Is that enough? Am I good?
I see people.
No, the people want us. The people want you to tell us.
So he was getting ready to go, right? This is a man of many words. Is that enough? Like, did you get? Hey, it's like, I'm doing you a favor. You get what you need. I think he tried to son Justin, and Justin don't see it. Is that enough? You say that to somebody like, hey, I'm giving you something. To ask that question, that automatically means you've had enough. That's when you ask the question. When you're tired, when you've had, hey, is that enough? You got it? I ain't got much more to give. That's hey, y'all can say I'm tripping if you want to. I'm trying to tell you what's up. I know when people trying to be slick, especially the super smart motherfuckers that be like, I'm gonna try to talk up here. He one of them.
Why the fuck did you shout out Logic? They hate that. They're very upset about Logic.
Oh, yeah,
and
see,
goddamn, what's dude name? Rosen. What's dude name? I thought y'all was talking about Rosenberg from the Ebro show when I was sitting around waiting. When dude popped up,
Rosenberg got to do with this.
Rosenberg Raw?
No, that's actually it's a
They
different
think you're
question.
trolling by They think you're trolling by saying Logic and Rosenberg raw. Are you kind of trolling by picking people that are like not really that great, or is there something that we're missing because niggas don't understand?
This is the first thing, and it might have been the only thing. I'm sitting here chopping it up with y'all, so I'm feeling good. Hope y'all feeling good. Out of all of the topics, there's quite a few with this Lupe thing that popped up. This is the first one he actually addressed, and he tried not to. Shout out to Company Man and his that journalistic whatever to know. Okay, the question has not been answered. We got to revisit this. Watch. This is one of the best moments.
You still think that?
Logic is a huge fan of me. He's like a brother. I fuck with him a lot. That 1-800 record is probably one of the most important records of all time. And every time we get into some hip hop shit or some rap shit, when you look at what this record really does and mean and does it move the needle, is it gonna cause a revolution? It don't do none of that shit. And it becomes about just servicing. Right? He's not whack. We acting like he garbage. That's crazy work. Right? And so for me, like I'm just giving tension and it's jovial because I'm talking to Ebro, who's a fucking comedian, right? And I'm talking is it Peter? What's his name? Paul Rosenberg, the other Rosenberg.
It's Peter.
Like
it's Peter.
Peter Rosenberg. We at Hot 97 vibing, so this isn't meant to be malicious. Like we're laughing, and I'm making fun of Rosenberg, right? Rosenberg is one of the most influential dudes when it comes to supporting New York rap. Period. And I'm talking at the ground level, and he knows, right? He be EO Dubs and Homeboy Sandman, and he knows what it really is, right? So I'm playing with him, right? But I'm also hitting him with like, yeah, you got to take that into consideration. Whether you agree with me or not, that's my opinion, right? But when I mention King Los, ain't nobody say nothing, right? Nope. And you don't bring King Los into that shit. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of like, it is what it is, and the homie is fire, and everybody's fire, so cool. But we can have those conversations, right? But we ain't finna discuss Los, are we? IT? No, we're not, right? So on the other side of that coin.
Let me surround my one nugget of truth with and hide my bullshit with my one nugget of truth. I'm gonna take my one nugget of truth and wrap everything, all my bullshit in my one nugget of truth. Nigga, I see you. The lowest part was the valid to get into the other stuff. And because the lowest part is so extremely valid, it makes everything like, oh, well, this can't all not be. Stop it, my nigga. They be trying to play with our mental. They be playing with our mental. Okay.
And you see Rosenberg Reese trying to talk him down. Like, nigga, you crazy. Lois told him, like, nigga, you crazy? You know how the fuck I get down? When it comes to that, can't nobody see me at all. And he's right. With that said, though, I'm not trolling. To me, it's barbershop conversation amongst our friends. And people like to take that really, really seriously. And the one thing that I do check myself on, and what I've learned from this whole experience, is that everybody says, like, bro, you got power. And for me, this shows that, like, yeah, I got power. Because don't nobody respond to a nigga that's not a threat. And the only thing you can be threatened by is power. Right? So if I was a nobody or nothing, you wouldn't care about me at all. We wouldn't be having none of these conversations at all. You wouldn't get platformed or whatever, right? So I'm not mad at that. I feel like I'm getting the opposite of what Doc got when he went at Drake. He went up. I went all the way the fuck down. But
again, knowing this, I'll agree. It's some hypersensitivity to a degree, but the whole Dot thing, Dot and Lupe thing, it's a bit much for me. It's a bit much. Even with that being said, he knows that energy is out there. Like, what's up with you and Dot? Whoop, whoop, whoop. You know the energy's out there. So why feed into it? Yes, I just, again, this is a man of many words. Why use a phraseology? Why word it that way?
to me, it's whatever. A down is my up, nigga. Fuck it.
Last question on that. I want to follow up real quick on that Logic thing. In
Here we
2026, you still hold that same opinion?
Yes. With some caveats. Because since then, Dot has went on to do unbelievable things that will never be matched and never be touched. Not by me, not by anyone. Right? So in terms of what I was talking about when it comes to like raps, and let's all get in here and start rapping and like fuck these songs, I stand on what I said. I stand on Rosenberg Raw. Rosenberg Raw said, I'm Anthony Davis. Just when you think I'm playing, I pull something. That's unbelievably fire. That's generationally fire ass bars forever. So you can eat a dick talking about Rosenberg ain't nothing. That's some cap, right? But to land this plane, after what I've seen today for the first time and what I saw yesterday for the first time, my perspective on the whole situation has completely changed. From the moment that I said what I said up at 97. And everything after that. Then everything before it too. So at this point, man, like I didn't mention dude's name in the past 2 years. I'm good. You probably won't see Lupe for a while. The next time you see me is on the tours coming up or the shows, you know, but I'm out of the conversation. I hope this lands. If you feel I ain't shit,
dude's name. You mean, like, even when you beefing with somebody, you say their name. You respect their name. Like, trying to treat Kendrick Lamar like he fucking Voldemort is crazy. Dude's name. Motherfucker, you know his name. If you're going to be anti somebody, do it as a man. Say that motherfucking name. That way there's no misunderstanding as to who you're talking to. It's there. Black and white. Dude's name. Oh boy. That's where you're like, hey, yeah, hey, oh boy.
But just
you
know,
know,
and it's gonna come out because people are gonna know what I'm talking about. They're gonna research and find it. Y'all gonna have conversations once y'all get off the phone. You're gonna be like, damn, that really happened. So that really vindicates him. Okay, cool. But until then, I'll see y'all.
Hey, we people. I gotta say this. We understand each other well. We all come from the same kind of. If you watching this, I feel like I don't think my demographic is very vast. I feel like it's very narrow, and it's fine. I'm okay with that. We all know how to go about nonchalantly insulting somebody. You know what I'm saying? Vague enough to where it might not really be too much static, but known enough to where you're like, oh, motherfucker eventually get it. It might not be right then and there, but you know, they're eventually gonna like, oh, look back on us. Motherfucker was yeah, that nigga was popping this shit the whole time. I feel like that's what Lupe does. Like a gentle shit popper. It's a gentle shit popper. He do it real dainty. Like, I don't know. Just, I can't figure it out. I can't describe it, but it's real. Got quasi like a backhandedry to it. Like, there's some muck on it. But it's pretty from afar until you really examine it. And there's like some muck on that.
Later, man. Peace and love. Much love to you.
Congratulations, Food and Liquor 20-year anniversary. I'm excited.
Now, I had to include this part. It's going to add context to what I'm ultimately having an issue with. Then we can get to some music. I found some music. It's in an interesting place. We'll get to it. But check this out. This is Third Verse Podcast. The day after Culture United. So he's giving his thoughts on the show, you know, after you know had an opportunity to sleep on it, maybe revisit something or whatever. So let's check it out.
I feel great. You know what I'm saying? Like 2004 Justin is doing backflips right now. Okay. Bucket list check, you know. So on a personal note, yeah, I loved it.
So Justin is a die-hard Lupe fan. Die-hard Lupe fan. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But we need to All the pieces to the puzzle matter. You can't just use some of the pieces of the puzzle and be like, "Oh, the puzzle put together, I'm done." No, nigga, them ain't just extra pieces. They go to the puzzle.
It was an interesting conversation to go into because I think honestly a lot of people just wanted to see me and the panel lambaste Lupe for the things he's been saying. And I even talking to Elle when we were scheduling who we were going to have in the panel, there was a lot of conversation around a lot of different people. And I decided on this panel for a number of reasons because at the core of at least this press run and at the core of generally speaking Lupe's public perception, I personally feel like there's a gap between what he's saying and how people respond to it. And I think personally some of that gap, maybe not all of it, but some of that gap is just the nature of how these conversations tend to go. I've researched and studied Lupe long enough. I've seen him talk to Bill O'Reilly. I've seen him talk to Peter Rosenberg. I've seen him talk to DJ Ski. I've seen him talk to Quality, right? And when you're in conversations with Lupe and you come from an antagonistic place, you get answers that I don't always, me personally, always believe that's necessarily how he feels, but that's how he's engaging in the energy. And I didn't want that energy because I actually want to get to the core of what people are saying or what people are saying that they think Lupe is saying, right? And so today's show is a great example, right? One of the things people criticized about the conversation yesterday is that I just let Lupe talk. I let Stat talk every Tuesday and Thursday. I just let Stat talk for 25 minutes to get his point out. Like, this is how I conduct conversations when I'm interested in what someone has to say, one. And two, I know the importance of what they're saying or importance of them needing to get out what they're saying. So at least I have something to really react to. How do I react to somebody if I'm cutting them off? They might touch on whatever it is that is in contention with everyone with the intention of rounding it out. I didn't want a whole lot of that on the panel. As far as what I got out of this, one, I think regardless of what anybody ever says, there is a very clear, sober, uninterrupted definition of what Lupe prioritizes when it comes to lyricism. Whether or not we agree, there is a documented example of where he's coming from. Should punchlines, entendres be that high? Does lyricism in hip hop or rap music begin and end with that? Everyone has their own opportunity to form their own conclusion, but we know where he's coming from when he is saying certain things about certain people he doesn't feel like are on a lyrical level, maybe to himself or to someone else. Check. Two, I wanted to get at the core of why people think, or why of this, what can appear to look like just a hater tour. Why is it all these headlines around Lupe look like this, and why does he continue to subject himself? What I got out of that was 6 things, 6 detailed stories back to back that have framed his entire career. He goes from the VH1 honors, which I remember because that was one of the first moments I realized I didn't know anything about Lupe Fiasco. I too thought that he was a Tribe fan. Found out he wasn't. I too thought that his response to that was kind of crazy. The easiest thing when you mess up someone else's lines on stage is to say, "Hey y'all, my bad. I mess up my own lyrics sometimes. It just happens." That is not how that happened. I thought Lupe's reaction was simply, I didn't even listen to Tribe. I listened to 8-Ball MJG, Snoop Dogg, whoever. I thought that was the answer. Turns out that was an old quote that Vibe put into the conversation. I didn't know that until yesterday. I had no idea about this Beehive stuff. I had no idea about this Reebok stuff. I had no idea about this Billboard stuff. I had no idea about a lot of things. That actually deepened what I assumed Lupe's overall frustration was. I didn't think Lupe was a hater on Kendrick. I think Lupe is someone from the west side of Chicago whose manager went to jail right about the time he's about to blow up, who only signed to this label because Jay-Z was going to be on it. Jay-Z goes someplace else, and now he's stuck in a system he didn't want to be in. Somehow found a way to finagle 2 classics out of it, fought the label against a 360 deal, and that is the reason why his career didn't come out the way it was, and that's where his frustrations came from. I didn't know it was like 5, 6 levels deeper than that, right? So from a journalistic standpoint, that's a whole bunch of brand new information. So if I'm going into a conversation, I'm looking for ways to get a headline out of a conversation with anybody. There's 6 sitting right there.
Just a Hunt, Company Man, Culture United. I still rock with the show. That was the first one where I'm like, yo, this is just a little hanky. It's a little hanky. Let me tell you why it was a little hanky. So now we know. Now we have the context that I said we needed. So Lupe got to go into a 100% comfortable ground. This is the ultimate space of we listen, we don't judge. Ain't that what they've been saying? That was the little hot little phrase that we listen, we don't judge. You know? He had the ultimate version of that. A completely somewhat no, a completely passive panel. Gentle. Non-abrasive whatsoever. Cool. You wanted to cultivate that environment for him. Did he take advantage of it? Not at all. Not at all. Looking at his phone or whatever the fuck he was looking down at or looking at the window. Like his tone when talking. I think too often he be trying to let me show you how brilliant I am. Like, you smart. We already know you smart. You ain't got to show us you're smart. Awesome. This is my main thing. Y'all seen the panel? Why was actually no? Watching that answers that question for me. What it makes me interested in now is does the I think the next panel should be all of those creators that he was abrasive with. Invite all of them. Find out what all of their issues are with it. That would make for a dope show to be the after show, the show after Lupe had his own little opportunity to do and say whatever he wanted to. The next show really need to be all the creators. You can get one or two of the guys from the Rap Roundtable. You can get Quality on there. You can get Jay Nolan, like Curtis King. I don't know when the last time Curtis King been on a, you know what I'm saying? That will be the ultimate show. Hell, throw a G Malone in there. I don't know. A BK. I mean, you don't have to be all of them. I'm just saying, there's enough people out there who've had abrasive moments. If you're going to look at the Lupe of it all and give him the time and place and space to just say whatever he felt he needed to say, let's be fair. Do it for the other people too. Do it for the other people too. That is my ultimate issue with the Culture United segment this week. It looked like pillows were laid out to make sure there was a soft landing place for Lupe to land on. I don't feel like anybody hitting with any hard hitting or deeply in-depth questions. It felt very surface level for the most part. I only feel like El Janelle tried to nail him down on the logic thing. It took Company Man to you know what I'm saying, re-deliver the question to get a for definite answer. He still tried to wiggle out of it with the caveats. That's cool. That's cute. But whatever. He don't believe in none of that caveat shit. He just said it because he know he wasn't trying to have y'all on his ass. Pause. I do not think how he treats us as fans was addressed adequately enough either. My 2 cents. This is just my 2 cents. Feel some type of way about me saying this, so what? I don't care. I do definitely believe this is Quality's biggest point he can stand on as far as what he's talking about is the treatment fans. I'll admit some of the stuff I think Quality, bro, I think you kind of got some personal thing with him. I'll be 100 with you. But hey, I'm not gonna knock it because I got some personal issues. Great. So I ain't no hypocrite. But just, I mean, if it's true, just stand on it though, bro. Just stand on it. I think that's about my thoughts on that. But let's get to this music. I found some creative little spot for me. Now I had played a cipher a couple episodes ago with Snoop Dogg cipher. He put some on his channel, Snoop Dogg TV. It looked like it's just highlighting, I think for the most part, Long Beach, various rappers or whatever. What I'm going to do here going forward is I'm gonna watch the cipher a couple of times, however many times I feel like I need to. I'm gonna highlight one out of the cipher. I'm still gonna make sure the link is it's gonna be in the description, so you can go and check it out if you want to. But it just helps save an extra 20, 30 minutes of time, to be honest. Keeps me away from an hour and 40 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Nobody want to sit for an hour and 40. Let's get to this music.
Look what the wind and blew in. Back in the crapping kitchen. And I'm cooking up some old motherfucking heat. Who's next to ride the wave?
See, nice.
The wave is coming to a city near you. Ride the wave.
Look,
See, nice.
Everywhere I pull up, my aura consumes most of my outfit. Heard too much juice in the room get viewed as a crowd risk. We at whoever assume they movement about shit. Floral patterns in deserts, I bloom wherever a drought hits. Focus and learn from the cracks with the road openings. One of the city ghosts that grew branches from low motion. Passing on every chick except the baddie with no motives. So if anybody sees her, I'm happy
you about
to
to
go
see why I
roaming.
picked.
Space where shit get active, she'll be loving the view. Them LA dates could be taxing, but it's something to do. I write off good ones in my past, but now it's nothing to prove.
It's coming.
But if
Hold
you
on.
still end up with
Hold
me,
on.
that's a W too. Pockets taller got me feeling like a live threat. Bossed up on every type of loss that you could process. Only taking high bets, more working leads to progress. And not how many cars I could lease. Nas X. And now that my stock is high, my options I'ma let God decide. My income got a couple of streams, my wallet looking like Spotify. How could these niggas not know it's a talented city, especially how I arrive? If slots looking real occupied, I'm not the guy to stop and try.
He got some. Hey, he got a unique enough voice to me to where, if he chose to tell stories, I could buy into them. He has another gear to his flow, but it's not a gear to where I can't hear the fucking words. Like, you rapping fast. Your flow is extra super duper, speed dial, but I can only, understand like 2 or 3 words. That's not my fault. That's your fault. Your delivery did not deliver. You're the DoorDash that never shows up, brother. You know? This was the perfect speed for me, to where I was like, okay, you could catch that speed up, but not too much. Like, wait, what did he say? I gotta go back. What did he say?
Nice, man. Hey, that's too much motion for the ocean. Long Beach niggas are straight West Coasting. And yes, sir, I got the potion. And if you ever get the notion, rub you niggas off like lotion. Bag off, nigga. It's Long Beach.
This is the
Real
whole.
crib shit, cuz.
This is all of.
Yeah. Right on.
It may be one of those. It's like just people he putting on or whatever. Because I'm noticing a lot of them are older, which is I'm a little concerned that they're. I'm curious as to why you would pick older when I think right now one thing that is glaring is we need younger acts. We need younger rappers that aspire to be MCs. The little Bow Wows of the world. You know what I'm saying? The B2Ks of the world. They just got oops. He just got put in that pack. That was brutal. That was brutal. Hold on, where my music at? Where my music at? I'll tell y'all real quick that we can get up out of here. So I definitely think we are overdue. If we really want something that shows hip hop is in a good place, 2 to 3 young acts, 13 to 17, that shows the possibility of being upper echelon with some polishing. Plus some of the people who did the polishing to come back out and do some more polishing. The Jermaine Dupri's of the world, the Pharrell's of the world, I think some of these young cats find their sound. They find the proper sound, proper production. I think that's what I really want to say. Proper production. Find your Snoop Dogg, Battle Cat, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, Dr. Dre, yo T.I., DJ Drama. Yo Clips, Pharrell, you know what I'm saying? Like, that looks at your sound, the way you, for whatever it is that you deliver, how you deliver it, that looks at that and thinks, okay, that's the instrument, that's the little sound that I've been missing. Take what I've been already producing and cooking up and take it up. Find that guy. But I'm Oops Great. This is Kush Equilibrium. Appreciate y'all sitting around for the after hour. After the after hour. You was back there getting your ugly on, doing what you do or whatever. Don't forget, you know what I'm saying? You still owe me a thumbs up, bro. Because, I played in the background while I could potentially be Uncle Oops right now. Y'all was getting busy. Y'all was doing what y'all was doing. The back of the room back there. I see it. I was sitting here. Y'all had me on the TV and I saw that. So, thumbs up. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Until next time, I'm about to get up out of here. I know I'm hungry. I'm a fat kid. I've been sitting here chopping it up with y'all, kicking it with y'all. So it's time for me to get at y'all.
Count that fucking money, man. Count the money. You gonna get yours, B. You gonna get yours, man.